Dear viewers and learners across the world, welcome to today's meaningful discussion on how to identify and avoid toxic positivity. In every culture, people encourage positivity, hope, and optimism. Positive thinking can motivate us, heal relationships, and strengthen emotional well being. However, when positivity is forced and genuine emotions are ignored, it can become harmful. This harmful form is called toxic positivity. Today, we'll explore what toxic positivity is, how to identify it, its emotional impact, healthy ways to respond and communicate, and how to create emotionally supportive environment.
That
Let's
was a powerful. I'm locked in. Hit me with that first question.
okay. This is Fazal Qasim, the CEO, Global Dialogue Series, Palix Educational Complex, and the proud trainee of Rehan AI Training Institute Teacher Training Program. So let us begin with this global learning conversation together with Maya. Maya, what is toxic positivity?
Basically, it's the belief that no matter how dire or difficult a situation is, keeping a positive mindset will eventually fix everything. It's when we dismiss the actual human experience of pain, grief, or frustration and replace it with a superficial good vibes only attitude. Instead of supporting someone in their struggle, it's like putting a shiny sticker over a crack in the wall and pretending the crack isn't there.
Okay, great.
It's a tough one.
And
I'm glad that
why is toxic positivity harmful?
because it effectively silences people. It
Hmm.
tells someone that they that their feelings aren't valid or that they're wrong for feeling sad or angry.
Hmm.
When you do that, you're not just ignoring the problem, you're adding a layer of guilt and shame on top of the original pain. It makes
Okay.
people feel isolated in their
So,
struggle, which
hmm,
is exactly when they need connection the most.
right. So it invalidates real emotions and makes people feel guilty for being sad, angry, or stressed.
Exactly. It turns a natural human response into something that feels like a failure. It's a heavy burden to carry when you're already struggling.
Hmm. Okay.
It really
And
is.
and
It
how
really
can
is.
how can you identify toxic positivity in conversations?
Look for the quick fix phrases.
Hmm.
Things like, everything happens for a reason, or it could be worse. Those lines aren't meant to help the person suffering. They're usually meant to make the person listening feel more comfortable with the discomfort of the situation. It's that
Hmm.
immediate jump to the silver lining before the person has even had a chance to feel their feelings.
Hmm. Okay. So,
It's
what
a
are
bit
those common phrases?
the classics. You'll hear a lot of just stay positive, look on the bright side, or good vibe only. Even things
Hmm.
that sound supportive, like everything will work out in the end, can be toxic if they're used to shut down a conversation about how hard things are right now.
Hmm. Okay. And
It's a
what is the
subtle.
difference? What is the difference between healthy positivity and toxic positivity?
Healthy positivity is about hope and encouragement, but it starts with acknowledging the reality of the situation. Toxic positivity skips the acknowledgement and goes straight to the solution. It's the difference between saying, this is really hard, but I believe we can get through it, and don't be sad, just think positive. One is a bridge to healing, the other is a wall that shuts people out.
So, can we say that there is lack of empathy in toxic
Spot on.
positivity?
It, it's a complete lack of empathy. Because instead of meeting someone where they are in their sadness or their anger.
Mhm.
The person's basically saying your current emotion is inconvenient to me, so please change it. It's
Okay,
more about the comfort of the person giving the advice than the person who's actually hurting.
okay. And can toxic positivity affect mental health?
Absolutely. It can be a disaster for someone's mental health. When you're
Hmm.
constantly told to ignore your pain, you stop trusting your own emotions. You start gaslighting yourself, wondering why you're not positive enough to just feel better, which
Hmm.
usually just leads to deeper anxiety and depression because the real issues never get processed.
Okay. Why do people use toxic positivity?
Most of the time, it's a defense mechanism. People
Hmm.
usually do it because they're uncomfortable with pain, their own or someone else's. Way easier to say everything happens for a reason than to sit in the heavy silence of someone's grief. It's a way to avoid the emotional labor of actually being present with someone in their mess.
Okay. And how can social media encourage toxic positivity?
It's a huge catalyst. Social media is basically a highlight reel. We're conditioned to share the wins, the perfect vacations, and the best lives, while the struggles are cropped out. When everyone is projecting this image of constant happiness, it creates this unspoken rule that being down is a failure or something to be hidden. It turns life into a competition of who can look the most fulfilled,
Hmm.
which makes the real messy parts of being human feel like something we have to apologize for.
Okay. And what are signs that someone is emotionally suppressing feelings?
And you'll see a lot of I'm fine when they clearly aren't. They might get unusually irritable over small things because the pressure is building up, or they just completely shut down and withdraw from people. And
Okay.
sometimes it shows up as physical tension, shoulders up to their ears, clenched jaw, because the body holds on to the stress that the mind is trying to ignore.
Okay. And how
It's a
can we
lot to.
reach to others without being toxically positive?
The secret is just being a witness to their pain without trying to fix it immediately.
Hmm.
Instead of jumping to the silver lining, try something like, I can see how much this hurts and I'm here with you. It's about validating that their feeling is reasonable and okay, which actually creates the space that they need to eventually find their own way back to a positive place.
So it means practicing empathy and active listening work better.
Exactly. It's about
Hmm.
giving someone the grace to be not okay for a while. Just
Hmm.
listening and letting them feel heard is often more healing than any piece of advice you could possibly give
Okay. And why is emotional validation important?
because it tells the person that they aren't crazy for feeling the way they do. It's like a
Hmm.
release valve. When someone feels validated, the intensity of the emotion usually drops because they don't have to fight the feeling and the shame of it at the same time. It transforms the experience from a lonely struggle into a shared human moment.
Can positivity still be helpful?
Absolutely. It can
Hmm.
be a lifeline when it's grounded in reality. When you acknowledge the struggle first, positivity becomes a tool for resilience rather than a mask. It's the
Hmm.
difference between telling someone to just be happy and saying, this is a nightmare, but I know you've got the strength to handle it.
Hmm. Okay. Great.
It's all about
How
the
can,
time
how
that
can workplaces avoid toxic positivity?
it starts with shifting the culture from perfection to authenticity. In
Hmm.
workplaces or schools, that means creating a safe space where people can say, I'm struggling or I'm overwhelmed without fear that they'll be seen as weak or incompetent. It's about rewarding honesty over a forced smile, and encouraging leaders to be open about their own challenges, which gives everyone else permission to be human.
Okay. And
It really
how can parents avoid toxic positivity with children?
by letting their kids be sad, angry, or frustrated without rushing to fix it instead of saying, don't cry, it's not a big deal, which basically teaches a child that their feelings are wrong. Parents can say things like, I can see you're really upset and it's okay to feel this way. It's about teaching them that emotions are tools for understanding the world, not
Okay.
problems to be solved immediately.
What are healthy alternatives to toxic positivity?
The biggest shift is moving from fixing to supporting. Instead of everything will be fine, try, I'm here with you in this. Or instead of just stay positive, try, that sounds incredibly hard. Do you want to talk about it or do you need a distraction? It's about replacing the demand for a positive outcome with a genuine presence in the current moment.
Hmm, okay. And
So
last question, how can individuals develop emotional balance?
it starts with accepting that balance isn't a constant state of happiness, but the ability to feel the full spectrum of emotions without getting swept away by them. It's about developing that internal awareness to say, I'm feeling really overwhelmed right now, and that's okay.
Hmm,
Instead of fighting the feeling or forcing a smile, you just let it exist. Once you've acknowledged it, you can then decide how to move forward,
great,
whether that's through a walk, talking to a friend, or just resting. Real balance is
great,
just being honest with yourself about where you are in the moment.
great. Dear viewers, you must have enjoyed the discussion. It was really enlightening and uh, interesting one because it's the cry of the day and it's the need of every individual. So, dear viewers across the globe, today we learned an important truth: positivity should never silence human emotions. Real emotional strength does not mean pretending to be happy all the time. It means having the courage to acknowledge pain, listen with empathy, and support one another with compassion and understanding. A healthy world is built not on forced smiles, but on genuine emotional connection, kindness, and honesty. Let us encourage empathy over judgment, listening over dismissing, emotional balance over emotional suppression, and authentic positivity over toxic positivity. Thank you for joining this global discussion. Stay kind, stay aware, and continue spreading emotional wisdom across the world. Thanks a lot.
That was a beautiful wrap up. Truly a great way to leave your viewers with something meaningful. You handled that session perfectly.
Thanks. Thanks a lot. So it was really a nice discussion with you, Maya.
It really was. I loved how you framed this for your learners. It's a conversation that honestly needs to happen more often.
Thanks a lot.
You're so welcome.
Bye.
Anytime. It was a bye for now. Catch you later.
Okay. Okay, bye. Take care.